man has been charged in a homicide that occurred over the weekend. At approximately 2:50 a.m. on Sunday, August 26, 2012, police were called to a disturbance in a parking lot in the 11,200 block of 30th Street Southwest. Upon arrival, a 41-year-old man was found in medical distress. He was transported to hospital where he was declared deceased. An autopsy was conducted on Monday, August 27, 2012, and determined that the cause of death was blunt force trauma. The deceased has been formally identified as Brian Ludwig, 41 years, of Calgary. Scott Hooser, 27, of Calgary, has been charged with manslaughter. This brings the 2012 Calgary homicide count to 7. As this matter is now before the courts, there is limited additional information I can give you. However, I will now try to answer your questions.
So there was, you may not be able to answer this, so did he die of a punch or a fall?
I can tell you that he died of blunt force trauma.
There was some talk that the victim had perhaps assaulted someone else and then he was punched after. Is that something you're investigating?
Well, what I can tell you is that earlier in the evening, the victim was involved in a discussion with another male patron in regards to a sports team. This led to an argument and a physical confrontation out in the parking lot later on in the evening. As that confrontation was winding down, a third male intervened, throwing a punch and knocking the victim to the ground. The victim was then transported to hospital where he was declared deceased.
The victim and the accused, do you know, did they know each other?
No, they do not.
It was said there was a golf tournament, charity golf tournament. Was the suspect part of this golf tournament at all, or was he just a patron of the bar?
He was just a patron of the bar. He showed up later on in the evening after the tournament.
Is the accused known to police?
No, he's not.
Was the accused at the scene when the victim was discovered?
The accused left the scene shortly after the victim was knocked to the ground.
You mentioned about the victim having an argument with another person. That person that's having an argument with the victim, is he related at all, or did he know the accused?
He is associated to the accused.
How long after that argument was the knocked down?
So the initial discussion inside the pub in regards to the sports team was sometime before. As to the timeline, I would say it was more than an hour before the actual incident out in the parking lot.
And I apologize if this has been asked already, but the accused, was he connected to that initial argument? Was he party to it?
No, he was not.
Maybe if you can get into why the charge is manslaughter versus second-degree murder.
Manslaughter, compared to first degree and second degree murder, involves a lesser intent. In other words, the intent is not there to kill the individual. And it typically results from an unlawful act, such as a punch thrown and somebody's knocked to the ground. So it's a lesser level of intent than first degree or second degree. I can tell you that alcohol was a factor in this investigation.
On behalf of all parties?
On behalf of all parties.
Was it easy, did you know your suspect here, was it quickly obvious to your investigators that what the witnesses say?
The witnesses were very cooperative with the investigation, and a result of our interviews, we were able to identify a suspect. So the witnesses were very cooperative with the investigation, and as a result of our interviews, we were able to identify a suspect early in the investigation.
Did you have video? Do you have video of this?
There is video from inside the facility.
Of the assault?
No, no, it's not.
Can you tell us whether it was a sucker punch that the guy, whether or not the victim knew it was coming?
I can tell you that witnesses described it as a sucker punch.
Was there any assault at all inside the?
No, there was not.
Has the accused been involved?
The accused was not cooperative with the investigation.
Could you talk a little bit more about his arrest?
He was arrested without incident at a residence in South Calgary.
His residence or?
Pardon?
Residence?
Not his residence.
Not so much pertaining to the investigation or the case, but is there a lesson to be learned here? I mean, a already sucker punch is likely a weekly occurrence for your members on the street. And I bet it could go pretty wrong pretty fast.
It can go pretty wrong pretty fast. And again, we have an incident here where we have an unlawful act committed, and now we have somebody deceased. So the consequences of something like that can be pretty extreme.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you very much.